Madam Clerk?
We are up to the work session, which is,
Okay, now we're going to move right to the work session. Vinnie?
Thank you, Mayor. First up is a presentation regarding the bond anticipation notes and the sale results, and our CFO, Mr. Mangan, did that presentation.
Thank you. Okay, there's a provision in the local bond law that gives the CFOs the authority to buy and sell notes as we see fit in order to finance certain projects. So on August 16th, we went out to bid on a note sale for $8,050,000. And the provision in the local bond law says that the CFO has the authorization to do it, but we're required to report the results at the next meeting of the mayor and council, which is why we're here tonight. So August 16th, we went out to bid on $8,050,000 worth of bond anticipation notes. We received 6 bids. The low bid was submitted by Piper Sandling & Company. And the way it works is they bid an interest rate. And whoever bids the lowest interest rate is the one that that wins the sale. And they don't just bid an interest rate. They bid an interest rate and also a premium. The way it works is they bid an interest rate, and in case 2 entities bid the same interest rate, they include a premium. Premium is just the dollar amount of money that comes to us. So what we do is we take the dollar amount of money, we factor it into their interest rate, and we get what's called an NIC, or a net interest cost. That's how we figure out who the low bidder was. Okay, so Piper Sandling submitted an interest rate of 3.75% with a $75,911 premium, which brings the net interest cost down to 2.8%. That's the winning bid. That's the bad news. If you've been following the bond market, in the last 6 months, rates have gone way up. Just to put it in perspective, a year ago, notes are good for 1 year. A year ago, on August 18, 2021, we got a net interest cost of 0.179%.
Wow.
This year, 2.8%. Gives you an idea where the bond market is going. And also, around this time next year, we'll be making the decision about whether to go out for a bond sale or not. And where the market goes is going to have a lot to do with that decision. If rates keep going up, we're going to want to lock in as early as we can. Okay. All right. Everything else was included. Oh, one last thing was NW Financial does our financial analysis for redevelopment, and they also put out a weekly newsletter. Their newsletter for the week of our note sale showed that there were 8 municipalities in New Jersey that had note sales the same week as ours. Okay, and of those 8 municipalities, we did have the lowest interest rate out of any other municipality, and that included at least one who has a AAA rating. Remember, our rating is a AA1, which is 1 below AAA. But we did get a better net interest cost than the municipality that had the AAA rating. So I had to come up with some good news because it certainly wasn't in the rate. Okay. Anybody have any questions? We'd be happy to answer them.
Great job.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Second item is a discussion regarding the resolution that's on for tonight is the city parking lot for commercial vehicles on Green Street. That is the 2 municipal lots that are located on Green Street that are currently metered.
Green and Lodi.
What's that?
Green and Lodi.
Green and Lodi, right. And it was recommended by our parking utility to possibly switch these into commercial vehicle parking for a different revenue stream regarding that, because it'd be it's a good area that's not used typically by meters, but it would be used for commercial vehicle parking for some small businesses that are in the area. So, does anybody have any questions on that?
No.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, give it a shot.
All right, next is a resolution regarding Columbus Park Phase 2 improvements. This, I know there were some questions regarding whether this involved new bathrooms or a renovation, because the actual, speaking to Ryan, the actual grant or the money that the DOT award is, it initially calls for ball field renovations, a soccer field renovation, grass, not turf, both of those. New playground equipment, new swings, and rubber safety surfaces in that area. So if it does not include any renovations or replacement of a new bathroom facility or storage there. So in speaking to our consultant in Suburban, there is the possibility of repurposing the money to include a bathroom structure or at least the renovations for it. However, we lose the renovations probably on the ball field and the soccer field as a result. So we need to know the direction we may want to take with that.
Are we definitely moving forward with the splash pad side?
Right, this phase, well, the phase right now, we don't have the splash pad involved in that.
That'd be next week. We do have the funding allocated for
That's
that.
what I'm saying, I know the funding's in place,
So
so.
funding's in place.
Is this gonna be a problem at Stuyve like every other?
No, we say no.
Probably.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but there gonna be some people there, I'm sorry to say, but they may be over 60 or 70, that they don't have no kids. And a lot of young people moving
Obviously, they don't
into
have
the
dogs.
family section, right? They want something for their kids. You got 3, I got 1.
I'm in favor of everything for the kids, it's just that everything we try to do in Stuyve Park gets resistance.
So what?
from The neighbors.
What's the matter?
No?
Hey, you got the receipt and you find the
I'm at the
receipt.
point where I'll say, let's take the money from this and put it to the bathrooms. But, you know,
Oh,
and then let them
in
cry.
other words,
they're not building the
reallocate the
splash pad.
splash pad money for
Can we do
the
that from
bathrooms?
park to
I
park?
don't know, that I have to find out.
Yeah.
It could be repurposed, I don't know.
I don't know if that'd be.
And then we could, if they do want, if they complain that we're not doing the splash pad, then we put it in. But I just, I don't see it get, I see a splash pad getting more use in Columbus Park, yeah, honestly. That's just my opinion. I've just seen so many things, we dump so much money to Stuyve Park that they don't want. It's been ridiculous.
Okay.
I mean, bathrooms, I think, are more important than the splash.
No question about it. The bathroom
There's
is
children down
important.
there and they can't use the bathroom.
And
Yeah, we have,
there's
we have,
definitely a
we have
storage
camp, we have
issue.
camp there.
Storage
Camp
issue.
down there.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
main reason, one of the other
Fixing
reasons.
it all up so people can use it and then they can't go to the bathroom.
And then the boy, the men's room, when somebody go in, right, they lack, because it's only 1 is 2.
So the current ball field renovations do not include turf, that's grass.
All the new renovations include are making the surfaces grass and playable.
Okay.
Because currently, right now, evidently they're not. So, and it's about 200-something thousand, that was,
265, I think, with the field improvement.
the field improvements came out to about 265,000. So for that money, we might be able to,
What was
yeah,
the cost of the bathroom next time?
Depending on the size, yeah.
depending on the size,
Yeah,
it
that's-
would probably be somewhere in that area.
$300,000.
Over.
But we had a space in there, storage space, we had a little kitchen,
Yeah, it's
not a
big.
full kitchen.
It's big in
I
there.
had a portico with, you know,
It can be,
the
it
bigger,
can be the 2
Maybe
family
people
house
just
or
need the
that.
bathroom,
Yeah. yeah,
And the water and everything, there's a bathroom there now.
right.
So I guess that's the question to think about, Ryan, is, I guess, talking to Stephanie and Jerry to decide, where do we want to move this, if we can move this money, should we, or what do you want to do? Because if the bathrooms are that bad, that's a problem.
And the playground equipment there isn't that ship there isn't that old.
No, that's staying. There's
Oh,
gonna be
the
new
others, okay.
playground surface underneath
Okay.
that, and then the other existing playground, the swings, and there's
Okay.
How
that.
much money you need for the swing?
Hold on, I'll tell you.
I come to swing with $10. by
But they're doing two
by the
fields
road.
too, Leo. They're
Yeah.
doing two fields, right?
Two fields, new playground equipment, new
Playground and
swings,
you're doing
and the
surface
surface,
someplace else.
the
Yeah.
rubber surface.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just swings, it's a whole new stuff.
Yeah.
Can I make a recommendation, because my grandson's playing in other towns, because they live in other towns. Their fields, Paramus, for instance, their grass is like pristine. Saddlebrook, a little bit more like ours, but I checked with Paramus. They have a program, you know, where they use emergence at the beginning of the season, it's not gonna affect the kids once they're on there. Yeah, you go down to Fashini, all our parks are loaded, you know, they're really not treated when they should be treated, and that makes a world of difference if the grass is done properly. Kills the weeds, and, you know, get the fertilizer down at the right time before the season starts, and you get a good healthy grass. I think that's something if we're gonna put in all these new fields, we need to start doing that throughout the city, on all our parks, to get the grass up to snuff, even in Lancaster. You know, get a program, whether, I don't know if we have a license for that, but we're obviously not putting this stuff down.
And I think also too, like for Sheeny, there's a groundhog issue. I mean, if we keep putting grass down there, there's just huge holes if someone's gonna get hurt, they're gonna get hurt. So I don't know about Columbus, if it's gonna be grassy again, do they have an issue down there with groundhogs?
Or you're gonna have groundhogs near the water, and then you're gonna have.
And then the other thing is you're gonna beautify the park with flowers and plants and grass, you need water.
Right, sprinkler, a lot of times with sprinkler systems.
So those are all things we have to, if we're gonna do it, let's make sure we do it right.
And the other part of that same, issue is the Carver Park, the basketball courts, as you know, they are, in bad shape, they were unplayable. We had gotten an estimate, to have some emergency repairs, done over there. The cost we don't recommend doing because we actually have funding to do post-tension concrete and replace them and put all new things, which we are anticipating. When can we start that, Brian?
The design is on for tonight's
Right.
proposal, so as soon as we get that, we'll have the bid, we're ready.
Yeah, so we don't recommend spending this money to fix the cracks.
No.
And there are other basketball courts that can be used in the city, why that.
In the meantime.
Construction, in the meantime.
Ryan, the people that gonna do the cover party, the same people they did Columbus Park?
It's gonna be the same design, not the same, I mean, if they get the bid.
If they get the bid.
Oh.
It's gonna be the same design court.
Okay.
Yeah, the post-tension concrete, so it doesn't crack, we won't have cracks in the future.
Right.
Those current courts are asphalt, so that's why they're cracked.
Number 5 is the Second Street Road resurfacing update. Ryan, has an update on that, and then he's gonna go right into the CSO and stormwater
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep, good evening. Second Street will be pretty quick. That was a DOT funded municipal aid project that we submitted in 2020. That was right before we were really planning the sewer separation. So the current sewer separation project, Clay Street runs through Second Street, so we're gonna be digging it up, so that's why we held off. But per DOT, we needed to award it by November of this year, which will be awarded at the next meeting. The lowest bid was $453,411.82. The DOT grant we were receiving is $257,230, so roughly, $200,000 left that we owe. And the same contractor got it as they got for the sewer separation project, so we could coordinate it and get that all wrapped up and finished for Second Street. And that is Passaic, from Passaic to American Legion, that section of Second Street. It includes milling, paving, new ADA ramps and striping. And we'll probably have a new curve through there as well, because of the sewer separation project. So we'll all have new utilities there. But we also met with the gas company. They're gonna be doing some improvements in that area prior, so, we'll have some
We weren't
utility.
getting fire.
Yeah. Well, we have to relocate it anyway, so it works out.
Yeah.
Their gas main. And, Diola is doing lead services all in that area, so everything, so a lot of improvements in that section. Okay, for the sewer separation project, the Clay Street sewer separation contract 1, they were supposed to start today actually to do some additional inlets, but we had some bonding issues. at some corners, that was postponed until tomorrow. There's still some punch list items that are outstanding, but that'll get completed this week as well. Contract 2, which is Fashini to the river. We did some initial test pits, and the contractor is mobilizing this week to get started out there. They're gonna get started at the river and work their way out. Clay Street, Contract 3. The fully executed NJ Transit permit was issued, and we had our pre-construction meeting on September 1st with the contractor and DEP, and we're looking to start that in a couple weeks as well. Non-CSO, Voorhees Lane pumps station replacement. We had some test pits performed last week, and again, with that, due to the availability of the components, we're looking to do the actual pump station below grade work beginning the end of September to take all of October before the winter. And what we're having an issue with now is the electrical components. So some of those are very much delayed. So Suburban has been reviewing submittals for alternatives that have a lot less lead time. So probably in the spring we'll start up to do the electrical pump components and get that online. Park status updates, we just talked about phase 2 of Columbus and Carver Park, but the phase 1 of Columbus, there's just a very few punch list items remaining, and everything's done there. And Stein Park, the concrete sidewalk is slowly progressing, and curb is being currently constructed around the existing playground equipment, and hopefully we'll wrap that project up very soon. But the building was installed, all the utilities are connected, Suez, Viola had their contractor do the new water service, sanitary's hooked up, so we are doing big progress.
Is it operational yet?
No,
No, we still have some inside plumbing that needs to get hooked up and electrical, the outside connection.
When do we think?
Depending on when they could get the electrical contractor out there, hopefully within the next 2 weeks. The conduit's always gotta run the wires. And we gotta wait for PSE&G to do their service.
I know the porta goes on that quarter till October.
October, yeah.
Is there a way to open up a play area safely so people can utilize?
Once everything gets installed, we'll take a look at it, because it's gonna be similar to Main Street with the lights before. We could bolt cones on those
Okay.
individual foundations, there's just bolts sticking up.
Yeah.
We gotta protect them, or barrels we could put,
Okay.
but it's essentially just eight foundations in the center of the park.
Is this still October expected or was it pushed back?
The delivery of that is still
Okay.
October.
Okay.
And the bathroom should be available then too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Right.
the indoor plumbing's all done, we just have to make the connections from the outside of the.
everything connected to your right,
Yeah.
fabricated.
Yeah.
It's
Drop
already
it with a
done.
crane.
Ryan, do you think Second Street gonna start maybe in a few weeks or maybe
Second,
decade?
no, we gotta do the separation first, so it's probably
Yeah,
gonna,
really?
yeah, because we're running on the box culvert through there. That's why we had to wait. But we're
Will the
gonna,
hospital box culverts, I'm hoping?
well, we'll probably do them first, but they're on railroad, those are going on railroad, these are gonna be different size.
So we're gonna start, they're coming out of storage soon?
Yes, yeah, we gotta find a spot for them to store them, probably in a lot more.
So most of them will be on railroad? and then
Yes, those ones will be on railroad,
First,
yeah.
okay. That should make a big difference.
Yes, yeah, once we connect it under the rail and then put that in, yeah, that's gonna be.
We're looking soon, before, September, October, we always seem to get everything rains.
Yeah, I
So
know.
when we get them in, maybe
If
double those weeks.
we could get things faster, material-wise, it would have been done probably around this time, but it's, all suffering from that.
And once it gets too cold, then you can't do it.
Well, it depends, yeah. Yeah, hopefully we'll have a model.
Before the end of the year.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, motion open the public, please.
Okay.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Von Rudenberg. Aye. Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, with that, anybody from the public who would like to speak, please come forward.
Yeah.
Anybody on
Mr.
water?
Smith.
Anybody want to speak on water? Anything?
Good evening, Marty Smith, Prospect Avenue. If you recall,
a couple of meetings ago, we brought to your attention that members of our advisory board had met with engineers from county concerning traffic safety and upgrades on our streets here in Hackensack. They told us that county does not have funds to go forward with upgrades, and that any upgrades requested would have to be paid for by the individual municipalities. I don't know if Hackensack has funds to go ahead with the upgrades that are needed, but I can tell you that there is money out there from state sources as well as federal sources from Senator Buttigieg's department. And they go to cities that have active Safe Street programs in place. The federal government has set aside $5 billion for these programs. And I know that cities such as Hoboken and Jersey City and Fairlawn have already taken advantage of these funds. So I think we should move forward on this if we can. If we don't have the program in place, then we should bring a program online. The next thing I'd like to say is that when we were speaking a couple of years ago about traffic safety, Mr. Ehrenberg, of blessed memory, would sometimes refer to the 3 E's of traffic safety: engineering, education, and enforcement. And I can tell you, without a doubt, that strong police enforcement of traffic regulations is the foundation of safer streets and traffic safety. Without it, the first 2 items are worthless. We can put in as many signs as we want, as many crosswalks as we want, but we need strong police enforcement. I can't remember the last time that I have seen a police checkpoint in Hackensack as I saw in past years. We need this, we need safer streets. With that in mind, I'd like to ask if anyone on the council can tell me who paid for the median and the traffic installation on Johnson Avenue and Jefferson Street. Was it the developer of the housing complex that is coming online? Was it the city or was it county?
I don't remember. You remember, Albert?
I believe it was the county.
That was a county project.
It's a county
What
road.
in the city?
Where the city?
It's a county road, the county put in a traffic signal in Island.
It was county?
Yes.
Okay. So, we're working as hard as we can to try to impress the city with the need for safer streets. We have a lot of violations going on here in the city. When I'm out and about, I could give out 10 to 15 citations in an hour for violations that I see, not just from drivers, but from pedestrians as well. So I think we have to make this an important part of our city government's program. Thanks for the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons.
Can we ask?
Dini, can you explain to me what are we gonna do in the next few weeks with the,
Can I just, one second. Can we ask Melanie to look into this type of grant?
Sure.
Yeah,
And let's like at least get it on their radar and see if there's anything out there that the city can apply for that we can use as public safety or something.
maybe they don't
and
know.
any programs we need to put in place in order to get the money, we'll do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And Mr. Smith, just to respond to when you're talking about the enforcement, we had a short meeting earlier with the new police director, and part of what he's going to be doing and implementing going forward is more enforcement for the city for traffic. He's made some changes in the traffic division as well already, and that's one of his top priorities going forward.
One thing I forgot to ask. At the last meeting, we recommended that all police vehicles be equipped with protective shields for our police officers in the event of an active shooter situation. Has the council had time to discuss this? And have you come to a conclusion whether that will be done or not?
No, we haven't discussed
I
that.
could discuss that with the director and see. I believe there are some vehicles that are equipped with shields, but I don't know that it's all of them. But I will look into that.
Anyone else in the public like to speak? Seeing no one, motion to close to public,
Second.
roll call.
Councilmember Ron Rivera.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Aye.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor LaBrus.
Aye. Okay, with that, we'll see everybody at 8 o'clock. We're gonna return to, our meeting inside.